Stars, it's Star. Peace and love. This is my little Bigfoot friend here. He's hanging out with me. I do my TikToks and I do short stories on there about Bigfoot and other UFO related and spooky and unknown and all kinds of stuff on TikTok. So you can check that out if you like. In any event, why am I here today? Well, somebody asked me, what is the connection, or do I feel like there's a connection between UFOs, Bigfoot, anything mysterious, and human beings, and what's going on now in the world? What they meant by what's going on now in the world is the fact that there's a huge uptick in UAPs, or unidentified aerial phenomenon, formerly known as UFOs, but the same thing. So yeah, absolutely, I feel like there's a connection between all. First of all, understand, okay, that when I say, Bigfoots or UFOs, I 1000% believe in all those things. Now, I know in the past it was a joke, and people would say, okay, you're little Looney Tunes. Anybody that says they've seen any of that or they've been abducted, they're crazy. Well, if you've done the research, like I have, and I've done it for years, these stories are not all made up, okay? Do people make up stories? Yes, but those are very far and few between. Most folks are not doing that. Nobody wants to be put in a position where they're being called crazy, where they're being picked apart, where they have their life turned upside down because people think that they're lying or they're cuckoo. Nobody wants to be in that position. So are people telling the truth when they tell the story? I think 9 out of 10 times, absolutely, I believe so. What is the connection between us as humans? You are a spiritual being in a human body. I've said that many times, and I'm sure a lot of you already know that. So what's the connection? It's the evolving of us as beings that is the connection with the outer entities, is what I believe. What is Bigfoot? I believe Bigfoot is kind of a keeper of the forest. It's a being that lives in the woods, in the forest, all over the world. And I believe that it's he or she or they are there to protect the woods and the forest. Otherwise, our planet wouldn't live and breathe the way that it does. What are UFOs? What are UAPs? There are other entities outside of us. So if you think for 1 second we're the only ones living here, well, then you need to take a look at some photographs of outer space, because there's no way that we're the only living beings in this whole Milky Way or other Milky Ways, okay? So what's the connection? As beings, as human beings, I feel like the thousands and thousands of years that we've been here and that we are supposed to be evolving. And I think the evolving means becoming better. It can never mean the opposite, because if you're becoming worse, you're starting to dissipate, disappear, and ruin yourself as a being and the planet around you. So you have to evolve and become better in order for you to thrive and for your planet and other beings to thrive around you. Are humans thriving? Well, I don't know that we are at this point in time. Let's take a look at right now, okay? Well, all right, well, let's do this. Go back 1,000 years ago, when it was believed that, hanging people or killing people in mass, or setting somebody on fire because of the belief, was accepted to some extent. People would do hideous things to other people, things that you wouldn't do now. So in other words, no, people do hideous things to each other now, yes, but not to the extent it was. Like, example, we wouldn't all stand around in a parking lot and watch somebody get hung and cheer it on. Now, that's something they did, 100 years ago was acceptable. Is that now? No. Now, does it happen in pockets? Absolutely it does. And that just shows you that man has not evolved. And when I say man, I mean woman too. Human beings have not evolved to the extent where we understand that we need to take care of each other, love one another, which you start by loving yourself, and then you love others, and you create spaces of love and happiness and health and abundance for everybody. And when you're not there, you're not evolving, okay? Evolving also means, acting in a way that is good for everybody, okay? And not creating issues or doing nasty and evil things to others. People hear me talk about sexual abuse of children. Why do I talk about that? I talk about that because nobody else talks about it. People blatantly refuse to talk about it, okay? And even 2025, here we are, and there's still people on the internet with videos of children being sexually abused. There's people buying those videos, and there's people still trying to meet young children and take them. And not just, I know people say, well, there's traffickers. Of course that exists. But don't be fooled by just that, okay? By traffickers coming to get your kid and grabbing them. It happens, but not to the extent you think. People that you know in your own family, your neighbors, your friends, your coaches, your lawyers, your doctors, people that you know and trust are very capable of molesting and sexually abusing a child. So that issue, which is a major issue, okay, humans have not evolved when it comes to that at all. Humans are very good at hiding that and keeping that secret. And that's a big major issue that we need to evolve out of, because you're living on an animalistic level when you're still looking for another human, especially a child when you're an adult, looking for that child to pleasure you and your human body on that level. That means you're not much different than an animal that lives by instinct out in the woods. So that's a problem when humans are still at that level. Humans need to change. We need to step up, and we need to start talking about the fact and yelling from the top of the roofs that sexually abusing our kids is not acceptable. It needs to stop. How is it connected to UFOs? It's not connected in the sense of, oh, well, UFOs and because a UFO shows up, it has something to do with that. It's connected in the sense that other entities, other beings, higher beings than what we are, okay, they see us and they understand that we haven't evolved yet. So that's why they have not shown themselves to us yet. That's why they're here trying to protect us from blowing ourselves up. Why do you think they show up above military bases all over the world? They've been showing up since World War II, since we dropped the bomb on Japan. Now they probably were showing up prior to that, but they were specifically showing up at Air Force or at military bases ever since that bomb dropped, because they know the damage that can cause. So yes, human beings have a way to go. They have a way to go when it comes to our children and protecting them and not killing our environment the way we do. We act like it's okay to dump shit in our waters and to make food for people that's not really food, canned and boxed, and not allowing energy for everybody, that you have to purchase energy in order to live and cook for yourself. We haven't made it there yet, folks. That's what the connection is to higher entities like those that are in UAPs or UFOs, or entities like a Bigfoot or other type of entities, because they're way ahead of us. They understand what it means to stay alive and healthy and to evolve as beings. We need to learn from them. And until we do that, we are not going to move ahead very quickly. Or it's not even really about moving ahead quickly. We're not going to become better than what we are. That's what we need to do. We need to evolve to better beings that love and care for each other the way these other beings care for us. I think they look at us and think, they still haven't made it there yet. They're still killing each other. They're still abusing their children sexually. And it's not to say everybody, but when you're quiet and you say nothing, you're really not much better than the person actually doing it. So you really got to open up your mouth. I'm not talking about hurting somebody that's doing that. I'm talking about letting them know you know what's going on and telling them there's a problem. You need to stop. You have an issue. Get yourself some help and do what you can to help that person. But more importantly, to protect a child from these adults who they should be able to turn to protect them. We're not there yet. As humans, we're not. And not just in America, all over the world. We really dropped the ball when it comes to that. And that has definite connection to who we are as beings when we leave this body. Start to evolve, people. Start to pay attention to what's going on. Start to speak on what is correct, what is right to live. I'm not talking about judging people and what they wear, and if people date other adults, dating other adults. Adults with adults is their issue. If they're not hurting anyone, that's their business. But when it comes to our kids, we have to protect them. We have to stop hurting each other. We have to stop hurting each other. And until we understand that, we're going to be stuck in this realm that we currently live in. make better choices. Love each other. That's what I'm saying. Love your kids. Love other kids that may not be yours. Say something when you see something. That's what I'm saying. All right. Well, I just want to touch base with you guys on that. I love you.